evening, everybody. Welcome to Yoga Flow. Tonight we are going to do a little bit of a combination of grounding, and a little bit of balancing. Okay. A lot of times we kind of feel the sense that we're detached or lost or not connected to ourselves or maybe our partners or, you know, your work, anything that is consuming of you. There's a lot of times when we feel like we're just not completely latched on, like we're being pulled somewhere in too many directions, and we haven't found the right balance to keep ourselves grounded. So I think that addressing the two things at one time can kind of be a nice introduction to learning how to first find that grounding, and then to find balance within that grounding, right? Because there's going to be times, even if you do a practice and you feel awesome and you feel more down to earth and grounded afterwards, and then we have to step back out into our realities, which might be, going to work or fixing dinner or doing errands or taking care of whoever, whatever. It's really easy to find that immediate detachment once we quit the actual physical practice. So we're going to do a lot of focus and setting, and today's intention, I would like you to just set it on, let's get back down to the ground, right? Let's center, let's focus, let's balance, and see, what you need to do to stay grounded. And what does it mean to actually be grounded? It can mean different things to different people and different situations. In yoga, it simply means to kind of get back to your roots, right? To focus on what's really important, which is this present moment, the here and now, feeling connected to the earth, feeling connected to yourself, and the universe all at one time. And a lot of us can begin our lives this way and even begin our days this way, but life gets in the way. And, sooner or later, we're all going to stray from that and feel like we don't know where we belong or where we are. Um, so let's just set our intention tonight on finding that grounding place. And while we're in that grounding place, learning to balance the chaos of real life with being able to ground yourself. And a lot of these things you can break into little tiny segments and do throughout the day, maybe, a minute or two here, a minute or two there. They're all very basic grounding poses and breathing techniques, and then of course our meditation that will allow the space for that to happen for you. So let's begin in a simple cross-legged pose. Let's take a second and just roll the shoulders back a few times. Just become aware of the difference of how it feels when your shoulders are up here and when they're down and back where they're supposed to be. It is amazing how much by the end of the day our shoulders are attached to our ears. So let's focus on grounding, bringing everything towards the ground. So that means your shoulders want to stay connected to your body, not up in your head. Okay? So let's take a second, take a nice deep breath in, and exhale. Take another nice deep breath in. And exhale. And then we're going to take that left hand over to the right knee. Bring that right hand behind you. Get a nice twist to open that spine. And this is a nice pose too, to do anytime you're feeling a lot of tension between the shoulder blades, or in the upper traps or the shoulders at all. Back to center. Let's take that to the other side. Right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind. And back to center. And let's pause for another nice deep breath. And take another nice deep breath in. And exhale.
Great to have you here. Have a great night.
And from here, we're just gonna keep our sitting bones grounded, our hips down, and just walk the hands out in front. And this is a good move to kind of demonstrate the balance between grounding and balance. We want to stay grounded through our sitting bones and our hips and our butt, but we want to be able to also increase our flexibility and get a good stretch. So the balance between those two is the point where you can keep everything on your bottom end sitting in one place and grounded, and your arms out. Now this might be right to here, it doesn't matter. But I want to take a moment in this pose tonight to just allow some really nice deep breaths. And you can work with your breath like always on these, that every time you exhale, try to walk those fingers out a little bit more. If your butt starts to come up, take it back and try again. So let's just settle in here for a few more nice deep breaths. And then come back to center. Bring the hands to the knees. Pause for another nice deep breath. And each time that we pause to take these breaths tonight is a chance for you to focus and refocus on grounding, right? So every time you inhale and then exhale, use that exhale to really let yourself get grounded into the floor. For a lot of people, they like to imagine that they're a tree and the ground is the earth and every part of us is the root coming out of the bottom part of our body. So if you're standing, it's your feet. If you're on your back, it's your entire backside. And if you're sitting, it's your sitting bones and your butt. Okay, that's just holding that strong root system and that strong base for you to be able to stay grounded and still become open. Let's take one more nice deep breath here. And exhale. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Bring those arms overhead, reaching up through your fingers while you're pushing down in through your sitting bones. And release. Once more, inhale up. This time, keep the palms together and just bring the hands down to the chest. And I want you just to take a moment here and press the palms of your hands together as you press your sitting bones into the floor. And then release the hands. Let's bring those arms up. Left wrist and the right hand stretching to the right, keeping that left side down. Back to center. Release those hands. Bring the arms back up, right wrist in the left hand, stretching to the left. Back to center. Release those arms. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees. And the grounding parts here are our hands and the surface of your knees. So I want you just to take a moment and really get focused on grounding your fingertips, the tops of your feet, the knees. And then we're gonna start doing some circles to the right. And as always with these circles, they can be as big, as small, as fast or slow as you want. The thing I want you to focus on is just keeping that gaze towards the floor and keeping all contact points firmly planted on the floor while letting the top of the body move freely. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then come back to center. Take a moment to find your balance again. Check in with your contact points on the floor. Make sure that they are solid and feel balanced. And then let's take those circles over to the left side. And let's do 2 more this way. Back to center. Go ahead and sit back on those heels. Let's bring the knees together, and I want you just to keep those hands on the legs, rolling those shoulders back. And let's bring the hands behind the back, interlocking the fingers. Extend those arms away from the body, and just take some nice deep breaths here. And then release those arms. And we're going to bring that left arm up, bending the elbow, and let that left shoulder rest on the left, or the left hand rest on the left shoulder. Bring your right hand up and just gently press that left elbow back, just until you can feel a nice stretch through the tricep and bicep here. Letting those shoulders drop down, keeping the head neutral. Nice deep breaths. And then release. And we're going to bring that right arm up, bending the elbow, right hand to the right shoulder, left hand to that right elbow, and just gently press back. And as you're gently pressing back, you also want to focus on pressing down through those sitting bones. And then also you want to focus on letting your shoulders drop and keeping that head nice and neutral. And then release, bring the hands back to the knees. Let's pause here for a couple nice deep breaths. We're going to come back to the hands and knees. And then we're going to come up, walking the feet up to the hands. And just do a nice gentle forward bend. You can keep the hands down here, or you can hold on to the elbows, whatever feels better. Just take some nice deep breaths here, focusing on grounding those feet into the floor, spreading the toes out. And then slowly come all the way up. We're going to come to a mountain pose. And anytime you're in mountain pose, this is one of the best grounding poses there is, especially for standing poses. So you want to just keep those feet grounded deeply into the floor. Go ahead and spread the toes. Keep the hands at the side, palms facing forward and open. And let's just check in here with ourselves and check and try to keep those knees lined up over the ankles, the hips over the knees, and the shoulders over the hips, so that we're creating a nice straight spine. Head should just be neutral. Close the eyes and let's just take a few nice deep breaths here. And relax. And go ahead and just step the feet out a little wider than shoulder width. And we're going to keep both feet facing forward. We're going to take the hands and place them on the hips. And then we're just going to slowly bend forward. And I want you to just take the arms and hold on to your elbows. And that kind of creates a nice gentle pull on those shoulders. And I want you just to sway from left to right at your own pace. And I want you to be aware of which side of the body you feel more tension in. Usually as we're going from one to the other, the left or the right will be a little more tight. So just focus on that. And just take some deep breaths, inhaling, exhaling to each side. And slowly come back to center. Bring those hands down to ground yourself. Slowly come all the way back up. Keeping our legs where they are. We're just going to extend those arms out to the side, palms up. And let's close our eyes here. Take a couple of deep breaths. What you might be noticing is anytime you're in a standing pose and you close your eyes, it immediately challenges your balance. So every time that we're challenging the balance, we're needing every muscle in the body to coordinate and work together to make us stay this way. And then release the arms. Take a nice deep breath in, bring those arms overhead. And release. Once more, inhale up. And exhale, release. We're going to leave the left foot where it is. Take that right foot and just turn it to the side. And we're just going to come down on that right knee. And just hang out here for a minute. Now, with this one, the grounding is kind of a two-part. You're going to feel it mostly through that right foot, but you're also going to feel the grounding of that left heel into the floor that's keeping you nice and stable, okay? And then I want you just to extend that left arm up, and you can either look up at that left hand or forward. Come back to center. We're going to leave the legs right where they are. And this time we're just going to turn the hips so they're more forward over that right foot. And we're just going to walk down that right leg. And if you feel comfortable here, once you're stable in this position, try it with closing your eyes and taking a couple of deep breaths. Then open the eyes. And then slowly come back up. And we're gonna do the other side, so let's plant that right heel, turning the right toes out, and then extending those left toes out to the side. Arms out to the side, bend that left knee, and let's drop that left arm down, and let's just hang out here for a minute, taking a nice couple of deep breaths. Again, being mindful of both feet being grounded, just in a different capacity. This is more of the strength, and this is more of the anchor. Okay. And go ahead, release, and extend that right arm up. And then slowly release. And keep the feet where they are, and just turn the hips over that left foot, and then slowly walk down with that left leg. We're going to do the same thing here, and I want to point out that you're going to notice probably a shift between the right and the left as far as your balance is concerned, which is completely normal, right? So you might notice that on the right side, hey, I can keep my eyes closed in this forward bend, and on the left side, not so much. So don't judge yourself about it, just accept. And then slowly open your eyes, walk back up. We're going to take those feet back together and ground ourselves in mountain pose. And then we're going to move into a few standing balancing poses. So let's just take some nice deep breaths, close your eyes. And we're gonna move into tree, which again is one of those dual action moves that I really appreciate for the grounding factor and the balancing, because you need to do both in order to make this move work. If one or the other is out of sync, it's not going to go well. And that's okay too, because some days are just like that, right? So we're going to start by taking that right heel against the left leg. And we're going to progress through this a little bit slowly so you can start to feel in your body maybe where you start to lose your balance or your sense of not being grounded down through that right foot. And as your leg is open here, try to just keep working on opening that hip and the hip flexor to extend a little bit more, or have a little more flexibility in there. And remember, always keep your hand next to something that you can lean on in case you do start to get a little tipsy. And then we're just going to move that right leg up, right foot on that left leg. And what I like to do, especially if it's a day where I'm not feeling particularly balanced, is start out with a hand on the wall. That way, that allows me to focus on grounding first and trusting. So I'm trusting that this right foot and right leg is going to be my anchor, and it's going to keep me where I need to be, right? And then as you're ready, you can either bring the hands to the heart, overhead, or out to the sides. And you can experiment. So sometimes if you feel yourself tipping and you don't want to come out of the pose and you're coming and doing some of this, that's fine. Just let yourself balance for a second, then try it again. And then we're going to slowly bring the arms down, step that left foot out, come back to mountain pose. Ground those feet, open the palms, close the eyes. Take a nice deep breath here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll just turn this way so you can see. We're going to ground that left foot,
keep it nice and planted. Right foot, let's start with that right heel against the left leg, opening that hip, getting a sense of trusting that leg for grounding you and holding you up, feeling the openness in your hip that will allow the flexibility that you need to hold this balance. Go ahead and put your left hand against something if you want. Bring that right foot up to the left leg, and then just experiment here with where your balance is. It's always going to be different on each side, so don't be afraid if one side is really good and one side sucks, because it's going to be that way, and usually every day it changes. And then slowly release the hands. Bring that right foot down. Come back to mountain pose one more time. Opening the chest, relaxing the shoulders, feet planted, palms open, eyes closed. Nice deep breath in, arms up. And exhale, come down to a forward fold. And then come down onto the toes into a squat. And if you feel comfortable, you can bring your hands up to the knees or to the heart. And if you feel like you're able, close the eyes here, even if just for a second at a time. I usually, when I'm first doing this, like to kind of blink a little bit and then keep them closed for a couple of seconds, open, just until I form enough trust in myself that I can do it. So whatever works for you, just try it. And if you want to keep your hands back down here, go for it. This is a nice, safe way to start out so that you learn to trust yourself and trust your strength. And then go ahead, come back down. We're going to come back into a simple cross-legged pose, and we're going to hang out here for a minute and do a little bit more deep breathing, getting used to transitioning from our feet being grounded in our standing poses to the sitting bones and the butt being planted and grounded in the sitting poses. Let's just place those hands on the knees, shoulders back, chest open. Nice couple of deep breaths here. And then we're going to move over back onto hands and knees. And we're going to do the arm and leg extensions. And the thing I want you to focus on tonight when you're doing this is not just the extension that you're getting, but the grounding that is taking place, as well as the balance and the strength, right? So when we're doing our leg and arm extensions, we always start and end on the hands and knees, both equally apart as much as you can, and try to keep balanced on both sides. And keeping your eyes looking softly towards the floor, go ahead and extend that left leg out. And now see how your body has to adjust to that change, right? So now the grounding is in the hands, one knee and one foot. And then extend that right arm out. And now our grounding points have changed to just the left hand, the right knee, and the right toes. So let's just take a couple of nice deep breaths here, see how this feels. If you want, experiment with closing your eyes. And then release both. And just take a nice minute to take some deep breaths here. And then we're going to shift over to extending that right leg out and back. And then the left arm in front. And again, note where your grounding points are. Your right hand, your right knee, your left knee and your left foot. And the extension and balance and strength is coming from the entire body to be able to hold this pose and keep you from tipping over. And then go ahead and release. Sit back on those heels, open the knees just a little bit. Extend the arms forward into child's pose, relaxing the hips and the butt back, extending out through the hands. Shoulders relaxed, and just let the head rest on the floor. And then we're going to slowly come up onto the elbows and keep on your elbows, and then just stick that butt back, bringing the heels down towards the feet and the elbows bent, palm or fingers together. Head rests down. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then slowly come back up. And we're going to transition first into a seated pose, and then all the way down to the back. We're going to let those hands open up to the sides and just rest open on the floor. We're going to keep the knees bent right now, and we're going to take a minute here and focus on grounding in a reclined pose. So here we have a lot of different points of contact, right? Pretty much our entire upper body is in contact with the floor, with the exception of the neck. For our lower body, we have our feet completely grounded. So there's a lot of grounding. This is anytime you're doing a reclined position like this, that's a really good time to just focus on grounding into the earth, opening up to the universe, and finding the balance of where you are in between. From here, we're just going to extend that left leg out and the right leg out. And now you're going to feel the most points of contact with everything but the bottoms of your feet and your neck being on the floor. And we're going to hang out here for a while because I want you to focus on feeling how the bottom and the entire back of the body is feeling grounded, planted, strong, and the entire top of the body is light and open. So work on taking some deep breaths to relax and open those hips and pelvis. Relax the chest and the diaphragm. Relax the chest and the pec muscles up here that are always so tight. And try to keep those shoulders down. And sometimes when you're getting into the Savasana or corpse pose, you want to also make some adjustments. If something's feeling not quite balanced, go ahead and adjust the hips a little bit. Lift the shoulders, make some adjustments there. And then when you feel like you're in a good place, just open the feet. And now the heels are firmly grounded. And relax all the way up through the lower legs. Relax the knees. Relax the legs, the thighs. Relax the hips. Relax the back and the belly. Relax up through the chest. Relax the shoulders. Relax out through the arms. Relax the hands and each fingertip. Relax the neck and the throat. Relax the head. Relax the jaw. Relax all of the muscles in the face and the eyes. And just continue to let yourself melt into the ground. Nice deep breaths through the belly. And then after your next exhale, we're just going to start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Move the feet and the legs and the arms. Plant the feet down. Slowly roll yourself up. And we're going to come into a simple cross-legged pose. Let's keep those eyes closed, shoulders relaxed, hands down. And as we close tonight, I would like to just take a moment and have you take a moment and realize the grounding that you've created, the balance that this can bring to your life. And let's just focus on sending that positive energy and those positive feelings and love out to someone that you love. To someone that needs healing. To someone that's just an acquaintance that might need something that won't talk about it. And the hardest one of all, summon and try to get all of that positive energy and love and send it to someone that angers you or upsets you. It's a form of releasing your own negative feelings and emotions attached and sending love to everyone and to the universe. Thank you for joining. Namaste.